What up, people? Welcome back to another episode of JK Sports. Today, got my top 5 draft classes. And it was really hard to pick 5 classes that were my favorite because outside of 2 teams, I think everyone had a pretty great draft. Or rather, I found something redeemable in everyone's draft class. But this was actually tough. I thought there were like about 8 teams that I really liked their draft class. But let's start off with number 5. The Browns, of course, having 3 first-round picks, kind of hard to screw up getting real playmakers. Actually, it's rather easy, but the Browns did a really great job, I think. Obviously, number 1 pick, there was a lot of rumors on the draft day that Mitch Trubisky was in the mix and Myles Garrett was not a guarantee. But, reason prevailed in the end, and they took Myles Garrett, the best pass rusher in this draft class, the clear number 1 blue chip prospect. I think he's a can't miss. Honestly, his floor I don't think is too bad. I think even if he doesn't develop into a 12 to 15 sack per year guy, I think he'll be awesome in the run. But I think he's at least, his floor is like an 8 sack guy who's awesome against the run, and you'll take that all day, every day. Jabril Peppers, 25th overall. I'm not a big fan of Peppers in the first round. But if you know how to use him, that's where my hesitation is in giving them a great grade for that particular pick. I think there were a few other players that I ranked higher, depending on what they need, because I'm not sure if he sticks at safety, if he's just in the box, if he's a strong safety, in the box safety. I think that's probably his best position, but he played a bunch of positions at Michigan. I read somewhere like 15 positions. I'm like, Jesus. He plays like linebacker, nickel corner. If you know how to use him, he can be a serious weapon like Honey Badger in Arizona. What redeemed it back for me was they were traded back into the first round and got David Njoku with the 29th pick, which is a huge steal for me. I think he could have gone top 15. I'm that much of a fan of David Njoku. Just a phenomenal playmaker, and he's going to help whoever ends up being the quarterback there, which brings me to their second round pick, DeShone Kizer, quarterback out of Notre Dame. I think a lot of people thought he had the highest ceiling in the draft, and I'm one of those people, but I am not confident at all that he ever reaches that potential. I think his accuracy is way too erratic, to be honest, but when you're a team that's just so bad at getting a quarterback, like the Browns and my Jets, I think you have to throw out a flyer maybe every other year on a player of DeShone Kizer's caliber. And in the second round, I think it was worth the investment to see if you can really develop him and if you have something right there. Their middle round picks, Larry Ogunjobi and Howard Wilson out of Houston, I'm not a big fan of, but their last 3 picks I really loved. Roderick Johnson in the 5th was a steal. Caleb Brantley is in the 6th is a steal. He's got off the field issues, which are serious, and apparently there was a coach of his in UF that was telling teams to stay as far away from him. I mean, I'm obviously not privy to any of that information, but as a player, I think he's a steal in the 6th. And then with the 7th pick, they got the best kicker in the draft, in my opinion, Zane Gonzalez out of Arizona State. Kickers are insanely important. I don't know why they end up going, the best one would end up going in the 7th. I know someone, I think, took a kicker in the 5th or the 4th this year, but I think snatching the best kicker in the draft in the 7th, I think the draft was very complete. I think it was awesome from the Browns. Number 4, the Cowboys. It's not fair that the Cowboys had that amazing draft last year, grabbing Prescott in the 4th, Elliott in the first round, and then they were able to get that LSU tackle, I believe, for free. It's just ridiculous, to be honest. Or was that the year before? I can't remember. But this year, with the 28th pick, they took Taco Charlton. I think that was about where he was going to go. Pass rusher is what they need, and he just fit. I think that was a perfect fit. And then the second, they got Chidobe Awuzie, Colorado cornerback. This dude with the 28th pick in the second round, that was a steal. I think he was a fringe first round prospect. And then third, they got Jordan Lewis, cornerback out of Michigan, which was another steal. I think he was slated for the second round. They need cornerbacks. They got 2 that can contend for starting position as soon as they walk on the field. And then in the 4th round, they got Ryan Switzer, wide receiver out of North Carolina. I think he'd be good in the slot. He reminds me a lot of Cole Beasley. And then a steal in the 6th round, they got Xavier Woods, safety out of Louisiana Tech. I mean, that is insane. I think, in my opinion, he's a 3rd, 4th round prospect. They got him in the 6th. It's just like the rich get richer. They got a young, extremely talented team. I don't know if they are going to win it this upcoming year. I think Prescott might have some second-year woes, which seem to always happen to those rookie phenom quarterbacks. But potentially down the line, I think they are definitely going to win the championship. As soon as Tom Brady retires, someone else can win fucking Super Bowl. Number 3, the Chargers. They got Mike Williams with the 7th pick. He's a starter. I mean, he's a beast. He has amazing body control, and with that height and great ability to get separation from the corner, I think he's going to do phenomenal. And number 2 in the 2nd round, I mean, the number 2 pick, they got Forrest Lamp, guard out of Western Kentucky, the best guard in the draft. I was praying he would fall to the Jets' 2nd round pick, but I think he was taken right before. I think that's a huge steal right there. They could certainly use the offensive line help. And he was just the best player, honestly, on the board. And then number 3, they get, in my opinion, the 2nd best guard, Dan Feeney out of Indiana. I mean, you can get potentially 3 starters right there: Mike Williams, Forrest Lamp, and Dan Feeney. And then in the 4th round, they get Rayshon Jenkins, who I'm a big fan of as well. They need safety help, and I think he has a shot to possibly start. And if that weren't enough, they get Desmond King in the 5th round, cornerback out of Iowa. I think this guy was slated to go in the 3rd or 4th round too. I think they've really set themselves up for success. If you can get 4 starters in one draft, which they potentially have 5, I mean, that's insanely good in my opinion. Number 2, I think this was tough, but I was flipping back and forth between number 1 and number 2, but I think I'll get into it when I get to the number 1 team. But number 2, I'm going to go with the Redskins. I mean, to get Jonathan Allen with the 17th pick, not moving up, not doing anything, just having him fall right into your lap at the 17th pick. I think he's a top 5 player in this draft. And at a position of need, this is just a home run pick in my opinion. Awesome against the run, and he can bulldoze his way into the quarterback. He's a beast. Then in the 2nd round, they grab his teammate Ryan Anderson, out of Alabama, outside linebacker, edge rusher. I think that was a great pick. He was also a fringe 1st round prospect. If you see my mock drafts, I'm pretty sure he was in all of my 1st round mock drafts. And then in the 3rd, Fabian Moreau, UCLA cornerback. I think this guy potentially, if he were fully healthy, I think he's a 1st round prospect. I'm that much of a fan of his. And then to top it all off, I think those are 3 starters, like done deal, honestly. And then in the 4th round, they grab Samaje Perine, Oklahoma running back, who's just a monster. He has a lot of Jamal Lewis in him when I see his clips. So right there, you have 4 starters, in my opinion. There's no way Perrin doesn't grab the starting spot from the beginning, in my opinion. I'm just that much of a fan of his, and I think he has that ability. Number 1 team, the New Orleans Saints. Another team that just had a phenomenal prospect drop into their laps. The number 1 cornerback, Marshawn Lattimore, cornerback out of Ohio State. If he's healthy, that is just an insane steal. It's a steal already because he's the most athletically gifted cornerback, and he's just superb. There's everything about him. I mean, he's number 1. Best coverage skills. He's got the height. He's got the speed. He's just a tremendous athlete. The last pick in the 1st round, they took Ryan Ramczyk, tackle out of Wisconsin, who was the 2nd best tackle in this draft, in my opinion. I think he's pretty safe. I think that's a very good pick, in my opinion. And then in the 2nd round, the 10th pick, they took Marcus Williams, Utah, safety out of Utah. I am not as big a fan of his. I think there were a couple other safeties that I'm higher on, but he is a player that can contend for a starting spot immediately. In the 3rd round, they got one of my favorite running backs in this class. I mean, this was a tremendous class for running backs. They took Alvin Kamara. Tennessee running back. He's a big dude. He's a guy who can play all three downs. Uh, they don't necessarily need him. I mean, they have Mark Ingram, and they just signed Adrian Peterson. Definitely wasn't a need, but if you're not planning on paying Mark Ingram at the end of his contract, and Peterson, you don't really know what you're going to get yet. Kamara's a great pick. It's just best player available. You can't fault the team for going best player available. And that's certainly what Kamara was in the third round. And then in the third pick, they took a flyer on Alex Anzalone, linebacker out of Florida. This guy's very versatile, and he tested amazingly at the combine. And he really shows out when he's healthy. But that's the only reason I would see him falling to the third round. He can't stay healthy. But if he can, that's an amazing pick right there. With the 39th pick in the third round, they took Trey Hendrickson, defensive end out of FAU. I'm a fan of his. Maybe this was a little bit high, but I think if you believe in him, you believe him. So just take him whenever you can't want. I think he's got great pass rushing ability. You just got to coach him up a little bit more. And with the sixth pick, I actually am a big fan of Al-Qadim Muhammad. When he played with Miami, he didn't play this past year. I saw a lot of potential with him. He's really strong. You can see that he has a lot of good bend, which you need when you're an edge rusher. And I think with this pick, with the sixth round, he's well worth the risk. So that's it. Those are my top 5 picks. But I want to give a shout out to the Bills, the Bengals, the Texans, and the Colts. I'm a big fan of what the Colts got. Malik Hooker with the 15th pick, and then Quincy Wilson with the 14th pick in the second round. I think those are 2 amazing steals. And Marlon Mack, I think, is a pick that could end a running back who can potentially start for them. The Niners, I think, is an easy one to pick because they got Solomon Thomas and Reuben Foster, which is disgusting. And that ridiculous trade they did with the Bears to move down one, and they got like 3 third-round picks and a 4th. Ridiculous. Outside of those 2 picks, I mean, I don't see anything else redeemable here. I didn't like any of the other picks. I think they reached on a quarterback from Iowa. But they came away with Solomon Thomas and Reuben Foster, who are game changers, in my opinion. So you can't fault them for that. So that's about it. Follow me on Twitter @_JK Sports. Subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks.